Go ahead.
On the same subject, Jen, this is going to be really big news across Latin America, especially in those countries where people have come from. What is the Biden administration's message to people who may see this in the news in the next few days and think, oh, they're changing the policy. Now might be a good time to go north?
Well, the message continues to be what it has been, and I appreciate you asking the questions because it is confusing as we take a lot of these steps forward. One is that this is not the time. We want to put in place an immigration process here that is humane, that is moral, that considers applications for refugees, applications for people to come into this country at the border in a way that treats people as human beings. That's going to take some time. It's not going to happen overnight. Obviously, we have a bill that we are hoping will be able to move through Congress. But we also feel, I don't think any parent can look at what's happened to those kids over the last couple of years and not feel that we should do everything in our power to get those kids back with their parents. So we are trying to repair the damage and the horrific actions of the prior administration by trying to do everything we can to reunite these kids with their families. But it remains a dangerous trip. It remains a time. This is not the time to come to the United States. We need the time to put in place an immigration process so people can be treated humanely.
One of the other things that immigration groups have been talking about, some Democrats as well, is the idea of potentially some kind of executive action that would shield immigrant workers who are considered essential workers from the threat of deportation. Is that being considered? Is that being worked on?
This will not be the end of our immigration actions or our efforts to work on these issues. I don't have anything on that policy consideration for you, though.
And that was my next question. This is still being worked on. Can you give us a sense of what else may still be coming?
Well, then I would be getting ahead of a policy process, which I can't do from here, Ed. But this is a priority to the president to do everything he can, obviously putting forward the bill, but also taking the executive actions he had in his power to take to overturn the immoral steps of the last administration. So that's why he's doing all of these, taking all of these steps within the first 2 weeks of being inaugurated.
I suspect the answer to this one might be similar, but I want to ask it anyway.
Sure.
One of the things that was not addressed by these was the so-called Title 42, the CDC thing, expelling migrants and asylum seekers with little or no due process during the pandemic. The idea that they could be sent back right away because of the pandemic. Is that up for review? And why was that not perhaps addressed right away, since it's been a concern for a lot of advocates of immigrants who are trying to come across?
Certainly, I know it has been. I would just say that continuing to take policy steps to address the plight of migrant families, to do so in a humane and moral way, is a priority of this administration. We obviously are going to continue to work on the immigration bill that we've proposed to Congress. These executive actions are just part of our strategy. And if there's more to report to you on that, I'm happy to get to you directly. Go ahead.
Can I follow up on the immigration question? The executive orders as that have been described so far don't actually change or raise the refugee cap, which, as you know, President Trump reduced substantially. Doesn't also order the immediate release of children from ICE detention. The president has said that that's something that should be done immediately. Why didn't he do it today?
I think we're going to have more again soon in the coming days and weeks on more steps and actions that the president is interested in taking. So I'm just not going to get ahead of that right now.
You're saying he might still do it, but just isn't doing it immediately.
Again, I was saying that there are additional steps the president will take, our policy teams will take, our experts will take to address immigration in a humane and moral way. There are also a number of steps that are under the purview of the Department of Homeland Security and Secretary Mayorkas, who, of course, as you know, his confirmation was a bit delayed. Some of those are going to be under his purview. And so I'd point you to them to also engage with on some of those questions. But there is more the president will have to share on refugees and other issues soon.